This morning I've been contemplating on whether to even make a musing on this topic. Social media is abuzz with the tragic shooting of Charlie Kirk, and there is an immense emotional energy being expended on this focal point, and I am wondering what our pooled energies are meant to feed and support. I always make a double check when a high profile event is publicized and circulated in order to pull on our emotional currency, right? And I see heavy emotional currency being expended and bleeded into this topic. It's triggering some deep societal issues, whether that's free speech or gun violence. It's bringing out the shadows out of people, and they are casting their lot either on this side or the other side. In this reactionary response, there is no conscious awareness and room for compromise. It's very polarizing. These events always polarize the best of friends. It's politics and religion. There's certain triggers that polarize the very best of friends. And if we do not stay aware in our soul self, they catch us every time, and we get lost in whatever the agenda is, right? I have said that I would be deliberate about not posting anything to do with Charlie Kirk. And this will be my only video and my only response to the topic. I just want to say, please come back to your aware, conscious self, and do not stay stuck in emotional reactionary mode and bleed your precious energy to something that is not going to help except feed the cause of dividing us again, right? Keeping us apart and opposed to one another. For those who are concerned about a civil war, let me be clear. The civil war has been going on for a long time. It started when you were born into this world of forgetting, amnesia, duality, trauma, and survival. And the Civil War really began within each one of us. We are divided on the inside between our soul and between our ego. And what we see manifesting externally in these shootings, in these violent crimes, these violent events, is just the reflection of the violence that we have perpetrated upon ourselves unconsciously in our own being. For someone to hate someone on the outside, there has to be a shadow reflection on the inside of us really hating ourselves, of us hating some aspect, shadow aspect within ourselves that we see on the outside and judge and condemn on the outside, that is a reaction that comes from self-judgment, from unconscious self-judgment. We're not aware that we condemn ourselves on the inside, that we condemn shadow parts of ourselves within ourselves. And that is where the Civil War has started. That is where the seeds for civil war were planted. And what's happening, if it happens on the outside, that is harvest time. That is the harvest time of the seeds that we planted within ourselves, where we are in opposition to ourselves. And that is merely showing up on the outside in our democracy, right? We all want to have a say, but please remember that you are playing in the arena of the divided ego, of the game of duality, right versus wrong, right versus left, Republican versus Democrat. That is ego's playing field. And if you want to play in ego, you will always have casualties, because ego is all about war. Ego is all about opposition. You can only escape that personally by not giving your ego the stage and feeding it with your emotional reactions. Now, this is a little more complex because your ego is fueled by your unconscious trauma, and therefore it is vital that at some point you become aware of your subconscious shadows so you can do shadow work and dissolve these reactionary trigger points in you. The need for validation and approval and for acknowledgement, right? We seek these things in consensus, in group consensus, by aligning ourselves either with left or right or with political parties that most heavily support our shadow, right? That most heavily support our suppressed issues, right? But again, we're just magnifying and externalizing the inner shadows, and eventually at harvest time these things will manifest in real time.